Come on and guide my feet, yeah.
Guide my feet
while I run
this race.
Guide my feet,
Guide my feet
while I run
this race.
Guide
my feet
while I
run this race. Don't want to run this race today.
hold my hand
Hold my hand
while I run
this race.
hold my
Hold my hand
while I run
this race.
oh, come on and hold my
hand
while I run
this race.
I don't want
Don't want to run this race today.
stay by me
Stay by me
while I run
this race.
stay by me
Stay by me
while I run
this race.
oh, stay
Stay by
oh, while I run
this race.
oh, I don't
Don't want to
run
run this race today.
search my heart
Search my
run
while I run this race.
search me
Search my heart
while I run
this race.
come on search me
Search my heart
while I run
this race.
for I don't want to run this race today. Don't want to run this racing
There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion
hearts beating as one. Light upon light upon light, all disappear into one. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts beating as one. Light upon light upon light, all disappear into one. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts beating as one. Light upon light upon light, all disappear into one. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine
Come on and guide my feet, yeah,
Guide my feet
while I run.
while I run this race.
Guide my feet
Guide my feet
while I run.
while I run this race.
Guide
Guide my feet
while I run.
while I run this
So I
race.
don't want
I don't want
There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth beyond our knowledge. There's compassion beyond our pain. There's a future burning brighter. There's a love to guide our way. There's a truth.
Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts beating as one. Light upon light upon light, all disappear into one. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts beating as one. Light upon light upon light, all disappear into one. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart,
Welcome to the ordination of Christopher Watkins Lamb in a ceremony that is co-sponsored by Foothills Unitarian Church, the Unitarian Church of Boulder, and the Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Chris Bice, and I'm senior minister here at TVUUC. Full disclosure, I am also Christopher's stepdad. We met in this congregation when he was just a preschooler, and he was a chaperone on many of my early dates with his mother. So I've known him for many years, but when we first met, neither one of us were ministers. This church and this faith has transformed us both. I have a friend, Joe Shukla, who a friend once gave to him a copy of a book of the Hindu scriptures, the Upanishads. And the friend wrote in an inscription that said, "Toward your metamorphosis into who knows what." An ordination is an invitation to transformation, a metamorphosis into who knows what. When I began in the ministry in 1998, I didn't even own a cell phone, and now I preach to one. Who knows what forms will happen in the years ahead as ministry advances. But I will share you one line of the words that my father read at my own ordination, which I think are important grounding for Christopher's ordination. It's a line from the prayer of St. Francis. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, may I bring love. Let us celebrate the beginning of a new ministry, grounded in the power of transforming love. Come, let us worship together.
Spirit of life, come unto us. Sing in our hearts all the stirrings of compassion as we gather in community today to honor Christopher Watkins Lamb. We honor the wind and the sea, and we feel you moving and rising in both, Spirit. We know you move in our hands as we try our best to give life the shape of justice. So now let us root down to the earth. Feel that if you can, yourself rooting down. And let us feel our wings held by the air. Just feel the air all around you. Spirit of life, we ask you to remind us that you've come. You have come into this time and into this place.
We call now on the ancestors of the land, the many lands on which we all stand right now. The many lands scattered across this country and this world that make up the one land of Mother Earth. We call on the many who have walked these lands before, the human ancestors, the more than human ancestors, those who know this land and know that the ways that it moves supports us and know that it is here to support us. So we call upon the ones who are in the earth, the ones who fly above the earth. We call upon the human beings who walk the middle earth path, and we ask you to come and bless this ordination. We ask you to bless Christopher. We ask you to bless his ministry with land and with good stewardship of this earth in the ways that you have taught us, ancestors, many ancestors, and continue to teach us. Come now to this moment of ordination and continue to arrive at every moment moving forward throughout Christopher's ministry today, tomorrow, and all the days in the future. We thank you for joining us, ancestors of the land.
And we invite all of the well ancestors to join us in this ceremony, to surround each of us where we are in body and all of us in this virtual space. We are grateful for your strength, for your resilience and your dreams, for imagining a future beyond your own life, for dreaming each of us and this moment, a moment of transition, a moment of becoming for our dear friend, Christopher. We give thanks for the ways love and community extend across generations and invite the presence of Christopher's well ancestors and guides, including Elwyn, Rowan, Carowin, Elder, Soren, Lyra, and Patterson to join us.
We call on Unitarians and Universalists who came before us to inspire us and to be a cloud of witness today. Specifically, those who have inspired Christopher, we call upon Phoebe Hannaford, John Haynes Holmes, Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, John Murray Spear, and Quillen Shin.
And now we want you, Christopher, to know that that which you are calling to, those to whom you are calling to, is also calling for you and has been making a space for you. We and the ones who witness you today know that you occupy many spaces, that you have sought to make space for yourself. And so we want you to know that you have a place at the table that is being saved for you, that is being made for you. The ways that you create ritual is also calling to you. Your ceremonies are also creating ceremony for you. The ways that you encounter plants and spirit medicines and the ways that you encounter retreat are also making retreat and spirit and medicine for you. And your music, Christopher, is calling to you as well. And so as you answer this call today, know that it is an answering that has been a long time coming. And it is not something you have had to do alone, but it is something that is part of an ecology that always has a space for you.
Spirit of fierce relational love, join us, bless us. Bless us in our belonging to each other, to ourselves, to the water and to the soil, to the lodgepole pine and the rabbit brush. Bless us in the bone deep knowing that we are connected, bound together, held by, fed by the earth, our home. Remind us of the beauty of our dependence. Bless us in this time of sacred ceremony. Open our hearts to the movement of mystery, to what is seen and unseen. Ground us in lineage, both backwards and forwards. Uncover our hearts, clear our throats, invite us more fully into this flesh with each breath, into these bodies, and the power of the words we speak to ordain, to call forth from among us to service, for leadership, for truth-telling. For all this and so much more, amen.
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 We light this chalice from Colorado, whose twin now resides in the sanctuary of TVUUC, in the spirit of bridging the distance, bringing together two mountain ranges, and in recognition of the collective power of 3 congregations to perform today the act of ordaining Christopher to ministry. Now let's sing together.
I'm Eleanor Van Dusen, the Director of Family Ministry at the Foothills Unitarian Church, and I've had the great honor of knowing Christopher for several years now since he moved to Colorado pursuing his path to ministry.
And I'm Lauren Farley, the Family Ministry Coordinator at Foothills. I've had the great pleasure of coming to know Christopher through the music he shares with us at Foothills and through my wonderful friendship with his family.
We are honored to be a part of Christopher's ordination and help to honor his desire to intentionally bring the energy of the earth, the wisdom of our bodies, and a sense of grounding that comes from being in and of a place to this service of ordination. We invite you now to a moment of meditation. Find a posture of openness, body secure and rooted in your chair to the ground wherever you are.
Breathe deeply. And go now in your mind to a place in nature where you feel grounded and connected. A place that is holy to you, important to you. You know what grows here, what lives here. This is a place where you can be still and calm. Fill your mind with what the air feels like in this place, what you hear, what you smell, what nourishes you in this place. Breathe here.
From this place in your spirit, we invite you to a responsive reading, adapted from the words of Lynn Cox. Listen for the voices of the children to guide your responses to each section. Spirit of life, ground of our being, root of unified mystery, growing into myriad branches of expression, bring us together now.
Bring us close to the earth.
Ear to the whispering grass, quietly, attentively, waiting with slow breaths, waiting with slow breaths.
Bring us close to the earth.
Listening for the very stones to cry out, with their rocky stories of tectonic plates meeting and parting, meeting, their mineral memories of Hadean days, molten rocks flowing and joining.
Bring us close to the earth.
Their ancient legends of stars born out of the collapse of other stars. Help us to remember. Help us to piece together our oneness that matters.
Bring us close to the earth.
With one more deep breath, may we rise like star stuff, walking and rolling across the surface of an impossible blue-green planet. May we join together to heal what is divided.
Bring us close to the earth.
May we find wholeness within, without, among, between. Eternal source, seed of the universe, help us to grow peace.
Bring us close to the earth.
So be it. Blessed be. Amen.
Spirit of life, bring us together. Bring us closer to the earth. We hear the grass and draw slow breaths. We hear the stones and remember our oneness. We rise like star stuff and join together to heal. Spirit of life, bring us together. Bring us closer to the earth.
Christopher, we bless your transition to ordained ministry with the words and wisdom of these children.
Close to the earth, with your ears to the grass and the trees, rooted in the soil and the stones. May holy breath move through you in words and song.
My name is Carrie Keese, and I know Christopher through the Mountain Retreat and Learning Center, which is a really special place for both of us in Highlands, North Carolina. I met Christopher as a senior high camper in a cabin that we shared together there my first summer on staff. The next summer, Chris and I both worked on staff together, and we've spent a number of years since then helping to run summer camp and youth conferences there. It's been really wonderful to share that bond with Christopher in a place that we both care deeply about.
The places we inhabit also live within us, shaping and influencing our lives as we shape and influence them. Once, a little boy came to a mountain. He was a sensitive boy, self-conscious and full of dreams. He was struck at first by the beauty of the place, the dwarf white oak trees, rhododendron, the rolling blue-green hills in every direction. He came back again and again for weekend youth conferences in the spring and fall, and then for summer camps. When he moved homes, changed schools, and found himself a stranger, coming to the mountain became coming home. He began to feel a sense of beloved community in this place. Here, people heard his singing and lovingly prodded him into sharing his voice. Here, he found a home for spirituality, and not unrelatedly, found the freedom and confidence to dance with abandon. Here, he began to feel at home in the natural world. As a young adult, Christopher completed a summer on the leadership team, helping hold and create the camp experience that had nurtured him. For the first time in his life, he did not know what was coming next. He had no school or job waiting for him in the fall. He had only an invitation: stay. And stay he did, clear through until December. When he left, he had a new name and a new purpose, a call to ministry. The word call implies moving towards something, but his experience has been more akin to ascending forth. As he began seminary, he found himself dreaming of the mountain, the familiar paths, the water and woods that live on in this place known as Little Scaly. A profound realization came to him one day as he was listening to a podcast conversation between Joanna Macy and Ayana Young. Ayana described her journey towards standing in the place I love and fighting like hell. That is when Little Scaly Mountain, home of the mountain, moved from the background to the forefront of Christopher's awareness. In his anthropocentrism, he had not realized that Little Scaly sent him into ministry. This mountain is not only a place he loves, but a place he is accountable to. And so it is with humility and sincerity that we ask the spirit of this place to be with us today. Powerful, loving mountain, you have held and nurtured so many. You perceived in Christopher the capacity to be of service to this world through the vocation of ministry. You revealed to him, in collaboration with so many who were drawn to your embrace, his own soul's longing. Bringing your presence to this gathering today, we ask that you lend your strength and wisdom to this ceremony. Be with us. Be with us. Be with us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gretchen, one of the ministers that serves Foothills Unitarian Church, one of the 3 congregations. So grateful to be ordaining Christopher this morning. You know, we say often that there are upsides to the many challenges of this time. I mean, we so long to be together in person, but in this moment, all of us here in this way, this is one of those upsides. Because you can feel here just what a beautiful way it is for us to be together differently, but still so beautiful as we bring together all the different places that call each of us. If you haven't yet or recently taken a moment to switch over to gallery view in your Zoom, just take a moment now and just scroll through. Just feel there all of the different stories and the different places that are present here in this place. Breathing together, witnessing together. It's powerful too. To be called by a place and to be sent forth is a way of understanding life as deeply interdependent and also emergent. And it's in this spirit that we turn now to readings offered by Carol Bordeaux, one of Christopher's mentors and the minister at Westside UU Church in Knoxville, Tennessee.
This excerpt comes from Long Life, Honey in the Heart by Martin Purtell. We humans living in this now have an obligation through the beauty of our language, through meticulously handmade offerings that are returned to disintegrate in the wild, and the very way we move through our lives, to always feed the invisible root of the past, hoping to pause the flowering of the present now, for it is this constantly new-seeming nectar and delicious beauty of the tangible flower of the world of now that irresistibly draws from a time beyond our own the ecstatic nature of the divine, who is like a wild hummingbird, zooms and tumbles into the delicious pollen of the material present, thereby fertilizing now into the fruit of what could be, afterwards falling inebriated into a greater holy ecstasy, from whose dreams are made the soil of stars that feed the roots of the past. A good future, then, means we must feast the holy and make them drunk on the beauty of our present lives, so as to heal and make new the past. And from Adrienne Marie Brown, love is an emergent process. I stand before my love and let the tendrils unfurl in every direction. I am whole and becoming. Time is one instance, examining itself, mirrors, seeing each other, and blushing into eternity. I am the ant who carries grandfather to the grave in my palms. You lift the next day's meal, enough for everyone we know. We in rhythm, leaving home and returning on the wind. Love can't look away from itself, vibrating in the cell, fluttering, breathless, in sustained migration. I feel you, like dust feels water and remembers the home galaxy. It appears nothing is new, never was, and nothing is truly massive when seen in its wholeness. Until I took this breath, repeating the miracle, I didn't know I would say it, could not have known. I look to the sky, taste the wind on my tongue, and fling myself into the pattern. When I forget, when I think the end is near, I realize my insignificance, as important as yours, and begin to love again.
If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seeds. What a love letter to thriving from the song titled Crowded Table we heard or drank in earlier. It really sticks out to me. Because if our theologies organize towards liberation, which I hope yours do, if your theology moves towards healing and beauty, justice and love, then we must sow the seeds now, here in the present. The grand, massive terms that we are seeking, like love or beauty, or resisting, like hate and oppression, they must have a vessel here in the present to manifest. For example, a mundane thing, food. Every day, we all probably eat a couple times, and this food came from somewhere. Many personalities from humans, animals, plants, and more were utilized to bring about your meal. The earth was inextricably evolved and had to be generous to make the food possible and manifest. The weather had to cooperate to some extent to make your food available, because we need others to have even something as simple as food. In ancient indigenous cultures, every meal was an opportunity to sow the seeds of gratitude and collaboration with the cosmic ecosystem. In ancient Indian and Greek culture, it was considered necessary, like hygiene or clothes, to first offer food to the demigods before one ate. This indigenous spiritual and cultural practice of offering back first to God is called yajna, sacrifice, and it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. I will read an excerpt from Hridayananda Goswami, who makes a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna simply states that people must make offerings to cosmic managers, the demigods, who then supply all human needs. With this bounty, humans then make further offerings that bring renewed bounty. Thus, a cycle is made to turn, the cycle of receiving and giving back. If we do not keep this cycle turning, if we take but do not give back, then our heedless self-indulgence and ingratitude offend the natural order. By sincere offering, we learn, as science now confirms, that giving bestows more joy than taking, that generosity surpasses greed. The reciprocity that is the heart of yajna, of sacrifice, sustains justice in our minds, societies, and civilizations. And we realize that our bodies, our bounty, our lives, and the natural world that sustains all these come as gifts from above. Our lives are like seeds, like food, and without intentional practice of offering them back to the magnificent network of life, which made it possible, we offend the natural order with isolated self-indulgence, with parched ingratitude. We spend a lifetime ignoring our role in the ecosystem and get tossed from symptom to symptom of living in separateness, in isolation, in scarcity. Symptoms like apathy and fear, exhaustion and hate. Our lives are daily activities. They are like food as well, and they can be vessels instead for gratitude, love and devotion to vibrancy and beauty, and offering to healing and justice and grace. Neglected intentions, I want to be clear, are still seeds. Neglected intentions are seeds for more of the same. More apathy growing into greed, more corruption crystallizing into oppression, more shame sprouting the weeds of ignorance. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seeds. And if it is love we wish to harvest, then we must plant depth and intimacy and kindness in our relationships. All our relationships, from self to one another to the cosmos. We must water our gardens with quality rest, with nourishing food, with ethical entertainment and healthy, healing art. We must fertilize with harmony and balance the soil's levels with ease and effort. It is through mutual benefit and care, a true relationship with life, with the earth, with one another, with the wheel of receiving and giving back, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the Gita says, that we will harvest a good life, a good ministry. And as Carol read to us earlier, a good future then means we must feast the holy and make them drunk on the beauty of our present lives so as to heal and make new the past. To harvest love, we must clear the weeds of greed and separation, the notion that our getting is separate from life's generosity, and fill in the soil with the rich compost of remembering. Remembering generosity is made supple with awareness and pouring over with gratitude, that compassion and creativity are more ripe with awe and fanfare. What we do has the capacity to hold oppression or love, beauty or shame, service or anger, and it is my belief that our spiritual practice is to purify our intentions and our impacts towards the ultimate love and service. Simply, to make our lives more loving so as not to harm with mixed intentions. That our unnoticed greed or fear does not skew our ability to recognize friendship. That unaddressed grief or shame does not make muddied our embodiments of joy. And that unacknowledged anger does not taint all that we do. Because to leave our actions a mixed bag of poison and elixir is a sin. It's a pity. It's a missed opportunity in and of itself. To starve and feed in our relationships is cruel. To enmesh and abandon ourselves or one another is trauma bonding, and that is no way to invite emergent, bubbling, ebullient love. What we do in the present, what we do with now, the particular, is the container for the universal and the grand. My beloveds, to surrender every morning to the network of life is not trite, it's practical. To give our meals back before tasting them is not ritualistic, it's an opportunity to remember our place in the cosmic ecosystem. To come together and ordain a minister is not logistics. It is another opportunity for us to give back what we know. We are fortunate to even temporarily have, and thus, in the offering of it, imbibe it with a charge of purpose, of possibility and service, beyond the sum of our noble hearts. This is another beginning in the ministry of Christopher, and another point of invitation for each of us to embody a fierce ease, a purposeful, gentle, and prophetic posture, a tangible how to a tenacious love. And I want you to know this. In the giving, we agree to be playmates with life. When we sow a seed, it is a sacrifice and a surrender, but they lead to collaboration and an unfolding that we could not have done alone. I have never made a cucumber, and yet, by offering the seeds into the earth and stewarding them, a sacrifice and a surrender, I collaborate with life and harvested well over 25 cucumbers just this summer. Offering is consenting with life to make magic, to add to our ministry. Life longs to add to our relationships, to our food, to our day, to our lives. And so I invite you, if you are willing and able, to join me in gathering your best things in your mind and feel them weighing into your hands. Your best things like your wit and your rhythm, your education and love. Like seeds gathering in your hands, your ideas and willingness, all the traits that are most valuable, most precious, and plant them in the rich soil of your heart. Gently cover them with moist, dark earth. And if you're willing, open your hands, receiving in, offering them to the source of life. In your heart and body, offer them back to the magnificent cosmos from whence they came, and agree to collaborate with life. Entrust the harvest, though unimaginable from here, will leave seeds for the future that will reap love. Ashe. May it be so.
That was a lot to take in. Would you join me as we sit with that message in a time of reflection and prayer? God of all people, Spirit of life, we come to you as some small part of creation. We are filled with all that came before us. We are sustained by all that is with us now. With us in this web of being and possibility, way beyond our control. May this day remind us who we really are, and may we offer our best, humbled in gratitude for this generous earth. In the name of all that is holy, amen.
Hello, my name is Elandry Williams, and I'm so excited and honored to be able to introduce the offering for Chris's ordination. I met Chris a very long time ago when he was younger, and I was too. And I really wanted us to understand and hold what it means and how it matters. So I was the co-moderator of the Unitarian Universalist Association until recently, and have met so many people who have been inspired and honored and supported by this fund. So what happens is half of the offering will go to the Living Tradition Fund, and the other half will go to a group of Chris's choice. And we're in these pandemic times, right? We're in these times of turmoil and need and growth and change, transformation, and really just sit in all the beautiful ways that we can craft new ways of being. And so as a longtime member of TVUC since I was a child, as someone who got to be blessed to be Chris's youth advisor for a little period of time, and am learning from him and growing from him, as somebody who's active in the world, both in terms of movement and in terms of our faith, we need your support now more than ever. We're in the middle of forest fires and people having to evacuate. We're in the middle of Corona and COVID, and we're in the middle of a time in which everything is being called into question and to account. That is when we need our faith more than ever. That is why we need spiritual guides and facilitators and wisdom leaders and people to guide and help support us along the way. And as somebody who's gone through my own health challenges and my own needs, I personally have been supported by the Living Tradition Fund. Kind of unbelievably, because I'm not even a minister, but they were like, but you do ministry in the world, and so you deserve it. And I would not have been able to get the care that I got, and to really be able to be like, you know what? I can breathe. Without that gift, I could not breathe. I literally could not breathe and could not say, okay, I can just focus on getting what I need done and not having to hustle 2 and 3 additional jobs to pay for the help I needed. And so as somebody who has known so many people who need this fund, as somebody who knows the power of what good ministry means, as someone who believes in Chris and Christopher's ministry all the way, and as someone who's been touched and honored and held and cared for, I invite you to give generously. Give to the Living Tradition Fund in supporting the new ministers in our faith and ones that have been around, both ministers and religious professionals. Give to support the organization that Chris has really decided to move forward, and give with the sense that we are in a moment of great transition. So give of your money, because we always need money to eat, right? But also be thinking and sitting with, what does this mean to you? How can you give in all the ways to Chris? How can you give in all ways to Chris's family? How can you give in all ways to the community, to your community and who you're with? Because we need more than just money, but we need resources in terms of our love, our care, our concern, our strategy, our everything, right? So please give generously so that we can do the strategic and necessary faith-filled, love-filled, movement-filled work of really transforming our faith, our world, and ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alondria. So yes, it seems our link is going to an old blog post. So if you were trying to give in that way, you can go to, thank you, Emily. Emily has posted a short link directly to give if you want to give that way, or you can keep giving through text. As you continue to give generously, I invite you all to ready yourselves and your heart for the magic that we heard about earlier. I invite you to ready yourself for that central moment for which we have gathered, the act of ordination. This is a rite that's performed in our tradition only by the gathered people, however they might gather. And so gather in yourself now the power and that divine presence which flows through you and through all of life, as together we consent to make magic and collaborate with life in this ritual of love.
In the living tradition of Unitarian Universalism, the authority to ordain a minister lies wholly with individual congregations.
It is an especially profound and joyous occasion for a congregation to recognize one who has answered the call to ministry as their life's work.
The act of ordination bestows the authority of religious leadership, the title of reverend, and the privilege to wear a stole. This act of ordination also celebrates the relationship between Christopher and 3 religious communities: the Congregation of Christopher's Childhood,
the teaching congregation that affirmed his ministry, and the congregation Christopher now serves.
Christopher, we have recognized your calling to the Unitarian Universalist ministry, discerned at the Mountain Retreat and Learning Center in North Carolina, and nurtured by the 3 congregations ordaining you today.
You have undergone the work of preparation for ministry, received the recommendation of the Ministerial Fellowship Committee of our association, and have entered into preliminary fellowship. Now, in this sacred moment, and by the authority of our congregation, it is our privilege to ordain you.
Christopher, are you ready to accept the responsibilities, the joys, the privileges, and the burdens of ordained ministry in the Unitarian Universalist tradition?
I am.
Will the members of Foothills Unitarian Church,
Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church,
and the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder please place a hand over your heart to signify your readiness to affirm this ordination?
In this sacred moment, we also acknowledge our own calling to be active and engaged partners in our covenantal tradition. We affirm our own commitment to the shared ministry of our Unitarian Universalist faith, our community, and our world.
Members, please unmute yourselves now to answer this question.
Are we prepared now to renew these responsibilities and ordain Christopher Lamb?
Yes. Is anyone going to say it?
Christopher, we speak these words with full hearts on behalf of ourselves and all who you will minister to. May you always minister from your whole self, bringing your heart and mind, body and spirit to the work.
May you always speak the truth with compassion and fire.
May you demonstrate humility, curiosity, and courage.
May you minister with love, justice, and compassion foremost.
May you listen and understand what vulnerable truths people may share and find beauty in the broken places.
May you know yourself to be one piece of the creation of a faith greater and more full of love than you can imagine.
May you be a witness to the living tradition of our faith, and may you be faithful in service of healing the world.
It is with a full heart and in gratitude to Spirit and all those who came before that I accept the ministry to which you ordain me. trusting in the transformative power of love. May our well ancestors and the generations yet to come be served by my ministry. With support and collaboration from my community, I dedicate myself to living the words of your blessing.
Will all others, Christopher's family, friends, and colleagues within and beyond our tradition, please add your love and encouragement to this ordination in the chat stream.
Christopher, we affirm you and send you forth a minister in our tradition.
Christopher, we affirm you and send you forth a minister in our tradition, knowing that we commission you to bring insight, care, inspiration, and a call to action to all whose lives you touch in your call to nurture our spirits and help heal our world.
Christopher, as you go forth, know that our support goes with you, wherever you may go.
Wherever you may go. Will those gathered please join in a final response of celebration?
Hold your candle to the wind. Let shine, let it 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 shine.
Woohoo! Congratulations, Christopher. It has become tradition in this moment of the ordination that the ordaining congregation presents the ordinand with a stole. One of my colleagues actually calls this moment the act of getting dressed. Often this stole is a surprise to the ordinand, or at least they act like it. This is an extra talent, however, in this virtual world, but still we have managed it. And also with our 3 congregations, we actually have both a stole to present today, right now, and one that's in the works that's being designed in conversation with Christopher by one of Foothills members and Aspen. So let's turn first today to Tennessee Valley for the stole that they have to present.
It's a small world. Christopher grew up in East Tennessee, in Knoxville, and as a young man, he moved to northeastern Colorado, to Larimer County. I grew up in Larimer County, Colorado, and as a young woman, moved to East Tennessee, to Knoxville. When Tennessee Valley UU Church voted unanimously to ordain Christopher, a vision of a stole came to mind. As I sat listening to the speakers, I saw in my mind's eye a stole with one side depicting the green, humid beauty of East Tennessee, the valley with lakes, the rounded foothills leading to the cloud-covered Smoky Mountains. On the other side, I envisioned the dry plains of eastern Colorado, the green valley of the Cache-la-Poudre River, the scrub-covered foothills fronting the majestic Rocky Mountains. No one asked me to make the stole. I had by default become a stole maker for other ordinations in our church. So the only way for me to quit obsessively thinking about the stole was to make it. It represents Christopher's journey from one beautiful part of our nation to another, as he also journeyed from child to youth to adulthood in the ministry. May he wear it with joy and dedication to his calling.
I am Denise Coleman, the immediate past president of the Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. During the year that I served as president, one of the most memorable and positive experiences was presiding at the congregational meeting in which we voted unanimously to ordain you, Christopher, to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. We can't be with you in person on this day, but this stole will bring the physical touch of your home congregation to you in this ceremony. It gives us visual and tangible participation in the rite of ordination. It will provide to you a continuing symbol of our affirmation of you as a person and as a minister. Christopher, in years to come, when you wear this stole as a symbol of your ministerial role and status, feel it as a reminder of where you have come from. Remember that it celebrates the commitments made this day in the words of ordination. And consecrate the stole with the service you perform as a minister in a time yet to be seen and in places yet to be imagined.
May this stole be a symbol of your connection to all beings, and may you wear it as a reminder of your commitment to serve your community.
I can't hear her.
I cannot hear Ken.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
There we go. Give me just 1 second. There we go. Can you hear me now? There we go. So I've been asked to do the laying on of hands today. This is a ritual of connection through space and time between Reverend Christopher and all those taking part in this moment, all those gathered online today. In some ways, ordination sets a minister apart, subject to different standards and tax codes. This ritual is a reminder that connections continue, that this minister that we have ordained today is held and carried in a web of unconquerable love, a vast ecosystem of love. So in person, we would physically connect to Christopher and to each other, forming a physical link to him, and through our bodies, connecting him to the divine that flows through all of us. Since the virus is keeping us apart, today we connect through technology, using the fibers and the wires of machines instead of human tissue. Across distance and time zones, we will lay our hands on Christopher now. So, to all of you out there joined in this moment through screens, through our webcams, our pocket computers, I invite you to take a centering breath. Focus your mind and heart on this newly ordained minister, Reverend Christopher Watkins Lamb, and lift your hands to your camera. Please lift your hands up towards your screen, towards your camera now. Reverend Christopher, with our lifted hands, we send you our blessing, our good thoughts, our gathered energies. We invoke the holy, for this is a sacred moment of change and transition. Spirit of life and love, harmony and rhythm of the great web of life flow through us today and into this new minister of our tradition. Guide his hands and heart and spirit in the days to come. Keep him on the path of courageous, heart-centered, creative compassion and away from the abyss of despair and burnout. We invoke the ancestors, all those whose faithful service to our tradition and community loved this moment into being. Beloved dead, be with us, comfort and companion us, lend us your wisdom and your resilience. We invoke the authority and ideals of our tradition and institutions. May this Unitarian Universalist minister carry forward the best of who we have been and can be. May he remember also that we have failed and missed the mark. May you fail forward, Reverend Christopher, with humility and a fierce, gentle, honest, persistent drive to witness, to listen, to do better. May your hands do the work of healing, nurturing, supporting, lifting up, making more beauty and compassion and music in the world, as you have so ably and often done. And at this time, if you'd like to rest your hands, dear ones, I invite you, Christopher, to close your eyes now, if you have not already, and breathe as deeply as you are able, to let the blessings flowing to you from all the hands and hearts and minds behind these screens and webcams and phones soak into you like rain into an aspen grove. Let it fill your head with weighty, quiet resolve, your heart with fierce, swirling courage, your fingertips with burbling, overflowing purpose. May it wash through you, Reverend Christopher, renewing and strengthening you. This is not the beginning or ending of your journey in ministry, but it is a moment when you are made anew. Let the wonder and joy and awe of this moment sweep through you like a roaring river through a red-walled canyon. Let yourself be overwhelmed by these waters, this love. May it leave a watermark in you, reminding you of how much love and blessing you can hold and have held. We love you. Blessed be.
It is my pleasure and honor to welcome you, Christopher, into this great living tradition of Unitarian Universalist ministry. To welcome you as a colleague into this living tradition that flows across time like a river, linking us with our ancestors of the past, connecting us into generations of the future, to feel in this moment a part of a great living faith. Because you have been around Unitarian Universalist ministry for most of your life, the challenge and opportunity of this moment as you become a part of this tradition is for you to find your place here as a colleague and to remember and find your voice that is uniquely your collegial voice, your voice as our partner in doing this work in the ways that you are called. What an incredible moment to be entering this living faith, this moment where we are all in the midst of incredible innovation, a moment that invites you to bring yourself, your best gifts, and to help us live out our mission, our commitments of faith for today. In joining this stream, this living tradition of Unitarian Universalist ministry, you take up the responsibility of stewarding the past and the future, to be a part of caring for those of us who are in ministry with you as partners everywhere, and also to keep an eye on those who have come before and those who come next. The path of ministry, as you well know, is not easy. And so I invite you in this moment also to feel the care and comfort and strength of this living tradition, all of the people who have walked this path before you, who are walking it now, and to feel their strength when yours starts to wane, to feel a sense of being carried like the river, carried by the river of this tradition until your strength returns, and then you can carry us along next.
One of my mentors, the Reverend Nancy Bowen, likes to say, the act of ordination rearranges your molecules. Isn't that a fantastical statement? Especially as a birthright Unitarian Universalist, it's so incredible to hear someone point to the magic of this moment. But as I'm guessing you're experiencing right now, she's pointing to an experience of this ritual that has been performed and then received by ministers across all the generations. That is an embodied sense of being made new, of being sent out anew. The river of our living tradition in this way is like a baptism. At least baptism in the way we might understand it. You were before this day already a minister. And yet today you know yourself, and we know you in a whole new way, sanctified by all those who sacrificed and remained steadfast in the call of courageous love across time and space and culture. All those who now call you by name and who bless you and who are blessed by you as you join us. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much to the congregations gathered here and to all that is holy for this endeavor this afternoon. Thank you for conferring ordination on my friend, my colleague, and my occasional nephew, Christopher Watkins Lamb. May we all be blessed by this truth-telling experience today. As a Unitarian Universalist minister in this great and flawed tradition, I thank you for asking me to present to Christopher the charge to the minister, a task to promote the most wonderful, healthy, enjoyable, and spirit-filled ministry that you are able to enact, Christopher. I sometimes do as I am asked. Mostly I do what I feel led to do. So if you'll pardon me, I would like to speak to you as your uncle for just a moment. And then I promise I will get to the task asked. As your uncle, I'm imploring you to stay connected to the one person who knows you better than anyone else in your life. Your wife. I am asking you that if you feel that connection loosening, that you then step deeper into your role as a husband and as a father, and be the support you promised to her and your children. I ask you to do this because I love Amber, I love Winterin, and I love you. And I was there when you married her. So Amber is very aware of this wanting to fulfill a call to the ministry thing. She's not surprised by it. And she just might be a minister too. Your ministry, whatever form it takes, in this day and age is going to probably be a challenge at best. And at times it is going to be very painful and people will break your heart. You're going to need your family's love and support to survive and to be the minister you're meant to be. So give that love to them first. Take care of home. Nobody else has that priority but you. Now I will get to the task at hand. Reverend Christopher Watkins Lamb, I charge you to find the most meaningful experience from your time as a youth in our Unitarian Universalist faith. I want you to write that down and put it in an envelope and put it where you can find it many times over the course of your ministry. Because, Christopher, that joy, that magic that you discovered as a youth in our movement, that moral quickening, the things that kept you intellectually stimulated in your youth groups, all those things are what you owe our youth and everyone who encounters your ministry. And you grew up with us. So keep that envelope where you can find it and where you can be reminded of that. I charge you with that. I charge you to wisely serve the things that are most important to your heart and working for those things, whether in fact there are 10 million people present or 1 present. We are here for the power of love and being there to be present with people who have needs. Be a good minister and let your success follow your goodness, not the other way around. I charge you to love people who will follow you no matter what. Those who will be with you through thick and thin, because as a minister, you at some point will have to break their hearts with the truth. It is part of our job. I'm also going to charge you to love those people who can't stand the sight of you. Love the folks in your ministry who don't particularly care for all this artsy-fartsy stuff, but who, when they need, will need a minister and one who loves them, and we have to love them anyway. Because when the time comes, they need a minister mature enough to love them and be the minister for them in that moment. I was given that advice by somebody very dear to you. I also charge you to keep joy on the table and in the computer and in your workshop outline and in your music and in everything that you do. Remember to keep joy in it. It is not hard for us to be miserable. We don't have to work at it. But for some reason, we do have to work at keeping joy. And I deliberately use the word joy, not happiness. Happiness is fleeting. Joy can happen in many difficult circumstances because joy comes from deep within. I charge you to remember your fellow colleagues in this profession and in the calling. Your colleagues across the spectrum of religious professionals, and especially those who practice other faiths outside of ours. colleagues who can listen to you and advise you and be a friend to you in ways that nobody else can. Cab drivers sometimes need to talk to other cab drivers. Be as kind as you can to our colleagues, because sometimes by being present, you can throw them a lifeline. And we hope that we are able to do the same for you when it's necessary. My closing charge is to be scared and to be sure, to be large and to be small, to be all that and a bag of chips, and to be the person who knows how to sweep the floor when it's absolutely necessary, only when it's absolutely necessary. And pray that you are being that right person, that right thing at the right time. Know that you have what it takes to do this. Know that you have what it takes to do this. Christopher, Watkins, Lamb, Reverend, know that you have what it takes to do this. Believe it when you are upset and when you are doubting yourself. I trust your interpretation and your acceptance of your call, Christopher. I love you. Ministers are currently little more respected than postal workers. Folks love us when they need us. Cherish the light-filled soul that so many of us can see and that we are so happy to see in you in this moment. May all that is holy bless this day. Bless your ministry, nephew, and Reverend Christopher Watkins Lamb. So may it be.
In the Free Church tradition, while we celebrate ordained ministries as we have today, we also affirm and rededicate the priesthood and the prophethood of all believers and the shared ministry of all the people acting together. Now, Christopher's ordained ministry has grown in some fertile soil of powerful communities, so hear this only as a reminder. The charge to the community today comes from lessons from the book of Acts. The book of Acts can be thought of as the Gospel of Luke Part 2. The book of Acts is what happens after Jesus has been killed by the state and the people have to figure out a way to go on. At first they huddle, afraid, but then something shifts and a power is let loose that changes everything. From that story, I think we can take 3 lessons. First, start in the Spirit. Second, continue in courage. Third, leave a living legacy. First, to start in the Spirit. When they huddle together in that upper room, confused and afraid, they don't make a 5-year plan. They don't elect officers. Instead, they invite and allow a transforming Spirit through them and among them that flings open the doors of their hearts, so that they can relate to one another with utter abandon and gladness and receive one another in that Spirit too. They start in the Spirit. Everything they do flows from that experience and from that moment. Let that be our invitation as well, that anything we would do would begin with the spirit of love, not with a sense of cold duty or obligation, but instead with a song in our heart. Let us do nothing in the name of love without a song in our heart. Let us start in the Spirit. Secondly, continue in courage. Now, as they move out, this is in the shadow of empire, mind you, they are not seeking status, nor do they set up shop on the edge of Jerusalem and stay just there. Instead, they move out in the world, animated by the power of love, and reaching out to draw in and to join forces with any lives they encounter who might agree to the yes that's at the heart of love. And so the first person who's baptized is undocumented and queer and black, somebody whose identities would be shut out by the metrics of empire, but who is right at home in the commonwealth of God. As we continue in courage, let us not be sheltered or shuttered or limited by institutional preferences or habits. Instead, let us be sent forth and propelled by courage joining and creating communities that are forged in that spirit of wild and creative love. If we start in the Spirit, let us continue in courage. Third of all, and last, let us leave a living legacy. Now, the theologian Reinhold Niebuhr once said that anything worth doing won't be completed in our lifetimes. The reward we receive is not going to be a chance to stand in the sunshine in the winner's circle. In fact, it may be that as we approach the end of our lives, things might seem dire. But still we hope, because in every season we invest in the next generation with resources, with trust, with blessing, just as we ourselves have received the inheritance of those who came before us, who pledged themselves to the work of love in this world, so too do we bestow upon the rising generations our gratitude, our trust, and our authorizing love. And so we follow those who are just rising up, those who seem not yet ready, those who seem tentative or still figuring out. We invite and allow the evolution and the revolution of all we hold dear, not insisting on our old ways that we have learned, but instead allowing and celebrating those rising ways to take root. And in so doing, we leave a living legacy. The book of Acts gives us this example of what a radical border-crossing, people-gathering power can look like. To start in the Spirit, to continue in courage, and to leave a living legacy. Let that be the charge we receive into our hearts and our communities today and every day.
It is my prayer that this service, this ceremony today, renews for each of us our connections in the interdependent web of life, that it reminds each of us of our divine spark within, and of the flame within us that we are called to tend, that we are called to hone in service to our communities. So with that prayer, let's hear our closing song.
Ancestors danced and sang. What seeds now must I sow? Sow my learning in the ground, spark of spirit all around. What makes my heart so low? Oh, my love, it's time to know. Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling. Oh, my love, it's time to know. When sickness is our health, when murder is our wealth, what makes to heal a soul? Oh, my love, it's time to know. Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling. Oh, my love, it's time to know. The flag that makes me white takes brown and black lives. Where must my privilege go? Oh, my love, it's time to know. to link this chain, roll the clouds and make it rain. What anchor must I hold? Oh, my love, it's time to know. Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling. Oh, my love, it's time to know.
Thank you all so much for attending my ordination. My heart is overflowing, and it just means the world to me to see all your faces and to receive your blessings. And if you are able to stay, you're invited to stay on. In just a moment, you'll be sorted out into breakout rooms. So this may happen automatically for you, or you may have a button come up on your screen that says join room, so you can click that to join the room. So what's going to happen is there's just a little chance to socialize after the service in these rooms, and then I will be hopping from room to room to greet everyone as best I can. And also know at any time, once you're in your room, you can also return to the main room that we're in now. So you have the choice to kind of switch between those two. So if you're not able to stay for the breakouts, thank you for being here. I wish you well. And for those who are able to stay, I'll see you soon.